The Chief Justice John Roberts prepared to question Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who was appearing as a guest observer. Roberts, known for his sharp wit, aimed to test Crockett's legal knowledge, assuming her political background might leave her unprepared for complex judicial matters. With a subtle smirk, he posed a convoluted question about constitutional interpretation, expecting her to stumble. The audience held their breath, anticipating an awkward moment, but Crockett remained calm, her eyes reflecting quiet confidence. She paused for a moment, organizing her thoughts, before delivering a response that would stun everyone in attendance. Crockett's answer was not only precise but layered with nuanced legal analysis, citing landmark cases and historical context with ease. Roberts' eyebrows lifted slightly, caught off guard by her depth of understanding. She dissected his question, exposing its underlying assumptions before offering a counter-argument that even seasoned lawyers would admire. The other justices exchanged glances, impressed by her command of the subject. Roberts, realizing his attempt to embarrass her had backfired, adjusted his posture, now listening intently. Crockett's tone remained respectful yet firm, proving she was no amateur in legal discourse. As she continued, Crockett referenced recent Supreme Court rulings, drawing parallels to the issue at hand with remarkable clarity. Her ability to connect precedents to contemporary debates left no doubt about her expertise. Roberts, initially dismissive, now leaned forward, intrigued by her perspective. The courtroom, which had expected a mismatch, instead witnessed a masterclass in legal reasoning. Crockett's words flowed effortlessly, each point meticulously supported by evidence. It was clear she had not come to observe passively but to engage at the highest level. Sensing the shift in the room, Roberts decided to probe further, this time with genuine curiosity rather than condescension. He asked about her interpretation of a controversial dissent in a recent case, testing whether her knowledge was surface level or substantive. Without hesitation, Crockett analyzed the dissent's strengths and weaknesses, offering a balanced critique that acknowledged its logic while highlighting its flaws. Her response demonstrated not just memorization but deep critical thinking, a skill honed through years of legal practice. Roberts nodded subtly, conceding her point. The dynamic had changed entirely. What began as a subtle power play had turned into a scholarly exchange. Crockett, now in her element, posed a question of her own, challenging Roberts on a recent decision's broader implications. The room buzzed with excitement as the Chief Justice considered his response, carefully weighing his words. For the first time, it felt like the tables had turned, with Crockett steering the conversation. Her confidence never wavered, her demeanor never arrogant, just assured in her knowledge. Roberts, to his credit, engaged earnestly, respecting her intellect. As the exchange continued, Crockett's background as a public defender became evident. Her arguments were rooted in real-world consequences, not just abstract theory. She spoke about how certain rulings affected marginalized communities, grounding her points in human impact. Roberts, often critiqued for being detached from practical realities, listened intently. The other justices, too, seemed to reflect on her words, their usual stoic expressions giving way to thoughtful consideration. Crockett had managed to bridge the gap between legal doctrine and lived experience, a rare feat in such a setting. The session, initially routine, had transformed into something extraordinary. Spectators whispered in amazement, and even the court reporters typed furiously to capture every word. Crockett's brilliance wasn't just in her knowledge but in her ability to communicate complex ideas accessibly. She avoided jargon, instead using clear, compelling language that resonated with everyone present. Roberts, known for his eloquence, seemed to appreciate her style, occasionally smiling at her turns of phrase. The tension had melted away, replaced by mutual respect. By the time the discussion concluded, it was clear that Crockett had left an indelible mark. Roberts, in a rare display of admiration, thanked her for her insights, acknowledging the depth of her contributions. The courtroom erupted in quiet applause, a breach of decorum that no one minded. Crockett, gracious as ever, nodded in appreciation, her humility only enhancing her stature. What could have been a humiliating moment had instead become a triumph, proving that preparation and intellect could disarm even the most seasoned judges. Outside the courtroom, analysts and legal experts buzzed about the exchange, calling it a defining moment. Social media lit up with clips of Crockett's responses, her name trending within minutes. Many praised her for holding her own in a space dominated by legal titans, while others critiqued Roberts for underestimating her. Regardless, the takeaway was undeniable. Crockett had shattered expectations, proving that brilliance isn't confined to any one profession or background. Her performance was a reminder that expertise comes in many forms. In the days that followed, Crockett's words were dissected in law schools and political circles alike. Legal journals published analyses of her arguments, with some professors using them as teaching examples. Roberts, in a later interview, praised her sharp mind, admitting he had misjudged her initially. The encounter became a lesson in humility for many, showing that assumptions about others' capabilities are often misguided. Crockett, meanwhile, remained focused on her work, unfazed by the sudden spotlight. The incident also sparked broader conversations about representation in legal spaces. Crockett, a black woman, had excelled in an environment where few like her held sway, inspiring many young lawyers of color. Her poise under pressure became a symbol of resilience, proving that barriers could be broken with competence and confidence. Roberts, aware of the optics, seemed to reflect on the broader implications of their exchange, perhaps reconsidering his own biases. For Crockett, the moment was never about winning or losing but about demonstrating that she belonged at the table. Her preparation and passion for the law had carried her through, turning a potential humiliation into a career-defining highlight. Those who had doubted her now saw her in a new light, recognizing the depth of her legal acumen. The encounter reinforced the idea that true expertise speaks for itself, regardless of the setting. The story of Roberts' failed attempt to embarrass Crockett became a viral parable about underestimating others. Memes circulated online, juxtaposing Roberts' initial smirk with Crockett's composed brilliance. Late-night comedians joked about the encounter, but the underlying message was serious. Intellectual arrogance often backfires. Crockett, with her quiet confidence, had become an unexpected folk hero for those who'd ever been dismissed unfairly. Legal analysts noted that the exchange might influence future interactions between lawmakers and the judiciary. Crockett had shown that politicians could engage meaningfully on legal issues, bridging the divide between branches of government. Her ability to command respect in the courtroom set a precedent, encouraging others to elevate their discourse. Roberts, too, seemed more open to dialogue, signaling a potential shift in judicial dynamics. Behind the scenes, Crockett's staff celebrated the moment, knowing how much work had gone into her preparation. Her ability to think on her feet wasn't luck but the result of years of study and debate. Colleagues in Congress praised her, with some jokingly asking for her help with their own legal questions. The moment solidified her reputation as one of the sharpest minds in politics, a force to be reckoned with. The media frenzy eventually died down, but the impact lingered. Law students cited Crockett's performance as motivation, while seasoned attorneys admitted they'd underestimated her. Roberts, in his chambers, was said to have revisited some of her points, reflecting on their merit. The encounter had been a reminder that growth comes from challenging one's assumptions, even for a Chief Justice. Crockett, ever the strategist, used the moment to advocate for legal reform, citing the gaps her exchange with Roberts had exposed. She spoke about the need for more practical perspectives in judicial decisions, pushing for a system that considered real-world effects. Her credibility now unquestioned, her proposals gained traction, with even skeptics taking notice. What began as a personal victory had become a platform for change. The courtroom scene also highlighted the power of preparation meeting opportunity. Crockett hadn't sought the spotlight, but when challenged, she rose to the occasion flawlessly. Her story became a case study in resilience, showing that setbacks can be transformed into triumphs with the right mindset. Roberts, too, gained respect for how he handled being bested, proving that true leaders appreciate excellence, even when it surprises them. In interviews afterward, Crockett downplayed the moment, crediting her mentors and experiences for her knowledge. She emphasized that the law belonged to everyone, not just an elite few, and that diverse voices strengthened its application. Her humility only deepened the admiration she'd earned, with many seeing her as a model for principled leadership. The encounter between Roberts and Crockett would be remembered not as a clash but as a meeting of minds. It showed that intellectual rigor transcends titles and that respect is earned through substance, not stature. For those watching, it was a masterclass in how to turn skepticism into respect, a lesson far beyond the courtroom walls. As the legal community continued to dissect the exchange, one thing became clear: Crockett had redefined what it meant to be a congresswoman with a legal background. She wasn't just a politician dabbling in law but a formidable legal mind in her own right. Her performance challenged stereotypes, proving that expertise isn't bound by profession or pedigree. Roberts, reflecting on the encounter, later admitted it had been a humbling experience. He acknowledged that his initial approach had been presumptuous, a rare admission for a sitting Chief Justice. The moment served as a reminder that even the most accomplished individuals can learn from unexpected sources. For Crockett, the experience reinforced her commitment to justice and equity. She used the platform to amplify issues often overlooked in legal debates, ensuring that marginalized voices were heard. Her brilliance wasn't just for show but a tool for advocacy, a testament to her dedication to public service. The viral moment also had a ripple effect in popular culture, inspiring memes, tweets, and even merchandise celebrating Crockett's triumph. But beyond the jokes, it sparked serious discussions about who gets to be taken seriously in high-stakes environments. Crockett's grace under pressure became a blueprint for others facing similar challenges. In the end, the story wasn't about Roberts' misstep but about Crockett's rise. She had turned a potential pitfall into a pinnacle, proving that true brilliance shines when tested. The encounter became a symbol of intellectual courage, a reminder that the most powerful responses are those delivered with knowledge, poise, and unshakable confidence.